Amen. I had the joy of getting to know the Reverend Dexter Kearny at Longview Presbyterian, where he was co-pastor for many years. But he's doing a new ministry now with One Parish, One Prisoner. It's a great mission opportunity for the church. And the session wanted to ask Dexter if he would introduce this ministry to us. And so I will pass it to you, sir.
Thank you, Tom. Hello, good morning. It's wonderful to be here at Westminster Presbyterian. My name is Dexter, as Tom said. Some of you might remember me because 8 years ago, my wife and I were up here doing our candidating sermon for our first call, back when Ed was the pastor as well, before we came to Longview Presbyterian Church, just your southern neighbor. And so that's why I'm here today, is you guys helped that process of getting me out here to the West Coast, so thank you. I'll say that up front. At that church, at Longview Presbyterian, we had the opportunity through the One Parish, One Prisoner program to walk alongside a formerly incarcerated person as they were exiting incarceration and they were ready to do something new, something different from the life that they'd been leading that had got them incarcerated in the first place. That journey was one of the most special, meaningful, and important things I felt like I got to do as a pastor, and I got to see in my congregation. And so that's why I'm here. One Parish, One Prisoner. It's kind of a mouthful, so we call it OPOP. It rolls off the tongue a little bit better. We partner local churches, one church with one person coming outside of prison. It's not to fix everything. It's not to fix anyone. It's to build a relationship, is what it is. So we take teams from churches, 7 to 10 folks, and we build a team. We train them up on how to build a relationship, and then we connect you with a person who's going to be coming home to Lewis County. For our church, we were really nervous to begin. We had a ton of questions, a lot of unknowns that were part of that situation. We met with the staff and we asked a lot of questions, and they patiently answered all of them. Some of them had very clear answers, and some of them were more ambiguous because we couldn't know all of the details of how to build a relationship and what that would look like. So we jumped in with both feet, and we got a team together, and we started writing letters, just getting to know each other back and forth. He started writing back, and he would send these little doodles that he would draw. Pretty good artist. And we bonded really quickly. His wife and kids started coming to our church to just get to know us and build up those relationships as well. And we just kept getting more and more deeply connected, deeply bonded. The team would have monthly meetings where we had learning modules that we would work through, videos, readings, and tasks that would get us prepared for this new relationship. It was about 4 hours of work a month through letter writing, team building, and the modules. So not a huge amount of time, but the effect was really monumental. That small team of folks, they started sharing things that I had never heard from them in the 7 years that I'd been pastoring them, or 6 years at that time that I'd been pastoring them. They started forming bonds amongst themselves that grew deeper and deeper, and they started sharing that with the church as a whole as well. Moments for mission, worship services, fellowship chit-chat, conversations outside of the church building as well. And that opened up our congregation even to start sharing stories I'd never heard before. And I feel a little ashamed to say that as their pastor for so long. There were stories that still I hadn't heard because there was so much stigma and shame around incarceration. One woman opened up about how her son had been in and out of jail, and I didn't know that. Another person opened up more about her experience of being in jail that we hadn't shared fully with the congregation. It was really transformational. There's so much shame and stigma that can come with our world, but also with prisons. And sometimes in church, we don't always feel the safety to talk about everything. There might be something that we feel is too far or out of bounds. It creates a lot of barriers. And for us at our church, we found that the person exiting incarceration also had a lot of shame and stigma and barriers of things that they felt were blocking them. But theirs were more exposed to us because they were the public news, and they were more out there because of incarceration. And by building these relationships together, we started to tear down the barriers in ourselves, in our church, and with our friend as well. And we got to see a little bit of a glimpse of that kingdom on earth as it is in heaven, as we've been praying so often. And that's just, one church's experience, but as I've started working with the OPOP staff, I've started to hear more and more of these stories all across Washington state of churches that have been paired up with just one person, getting to know them, building a relationship, kind of like Jesus. You get out there, you get to meet people, and you build a relationship, and you practice living together. It's not perfect. It's a relationship. It's messy. It's not a straight line from A to B. I had someone a couple weeks ago say it's not a A to B journey. It's a human journey, a human-shaped journey, which if you're human, you know that there's rocks and stumbling blocks that happen all throughout it. Anyways, that's a little glimpse of the program. My hope for you, if you decide to enter into that, is that you would get to just build new relationships in your church, new relationships with the person on the outside, and practice what Jesus taught us. Practice grace, forgiveness, resurrection, community, and love. As Pastor Tom talked about in the sermon, we see Luke 4, Matthew 25, and in Acts, as well as other places, this call to churches to reach out to those imprisoned and to build these relationships. So I hope that that's an opportunity that excites you. I'll be around afterwards with some pizza and some flyers. I didn't bring the pizza. You brought the pizza. Thank you. I'm excited about that. To ask and answer any questions that you might have, I'd love to talk to you more. Thank you.
Amen. Dex, thank you. I appreciate it. And again, what this looks like for us is we would need about 7 folks in the church who would form a team to support this this person. And so I hope y'all will talk to Dex over pizza, and we have an opportunity to engage in that.